With the increasing variety of fresh vegetables available in the market, it only makes sense that we increase the number of these ingredients in our diets. So today's recipes, simple, interesting, yet modern, great vegetable dishes in their own right. So let's take it away. The first dish today is called Imam Biyaldi, which means fainted priest. Apparently, when the priest tasted this dish, it was so delicious he fainted. So let's get started. Firstly, what I'm going to do is toast my spices, some coriander seed and fresh cumin seed, an onion, nicely diced, garlic, finely chopped. I can smell the aroma of the coriander and the cumin seeds. Roma tomatoes, quartered and de-seeded, then chopped into a dice. My spices are ready now, so now I'm going to use my mortar and pestle to grind the spices. Take my eggplants, cut them in half, and then I just run my knife just about 1/2 centimetre away from the side of the eggplant. Then I do a crisscross action, scoop out the flesh, chop the eggplant, some fresh mint and fresh parsley. Just going to pick this and chop it roughly. A hot pan, we add lashings of extra virgin olive oil, get the oil nice and hot. Then we add our chopped onions and garlic. So I let my onions sizzle for a couple of minutes, then I add the spices. Let the spices come out in the olive oil. A couple more minutes of the spices sizzling, and then I add my diced eggplant. Wet down the eggplant, that'll take about another 5 to 6 minutes, and then I just add a couple of teaspoons of cinnamon powder. Again, saute the cinnamon powder with the eggplant for about another minute. Okay, the eggplant is now ready. I'm just going to transfer that to a bowl and let it cool down for a few minutes. While I'm allowing the eggplant to cool down, I'm just going to add 1 cup of white wine, add a few bay leaves, some fresh thyme. After simmering for a couple of minutes, I just add some tomato juice, about 2 cups. I've just allowed my white wine tomato mixture to simmer for a couple of minutes, and now I'm going to let that cool down. In the meantime, my eggplant spice mixture, I add those diced Roma tomatoes, the chopped mint and parsley, grate some lemon zest, add a bit more extra virgin olive oil, some sea salt, black pepper. I stir all of this together. And then I just carefully spoon the eggplant mixture into the shells until they're nicely packed. Now I take my tomato white wine mixture and pour it into the tray. I transfer the tray into an oven about 160 degrees. This should take about 30 minutes. Turkish Imam Biyaldis are now cooked. I've let them cool down. They're best served at room temperature and they will be absolutely perfect. Next we're doing some organic carrots, green lentils, dates and vaduvan spice. The first thing I'm going to do is poach about a cup of lentils, 1 peeled clove of garlic, chopped in half inside, bay leaves, fresh thyme, about a cup of white wine and about a cup of water. I put that on the stove and bring it up to a low simmer. Next we peel the organic carrots, 1 red onion, peeled and fine diced, preferably Egyptian dates, which we need to de-seed and then chop roughly. My chopped red onions, chopped dates. I'm going to marinate with a nice splosh of brandy and also a slick of pistachio oil or any good quality olive oil. And what I'm going to do is just let that marinate there. Now my dates and onions have been marinating. I add that to the pan and let that sweat. The alcohol is completely evaporated. I've now allowed the onions and the dates to get nicely caramelized and colour. Take my cooked pureed lentils, add those to the pan, add some more olive oil and some sea salt. And stir the lentils around with my dates and onions. Okay, so I remove them from the heat, return the pan back and add some more olive oil. So now I'm going to add some vaduvan spice, which is a delicious French spice, which is a derivative of the Indian masala spices, which also has some shallots and garlic. And then I add my organic carrots. Saute the carrots together with the vaduvan spice. Transfer to my lentils. Another splash of the extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of salt, black pepper, and then we'll just stir that all together. Take some fresh oregano, pick off some whole leaves of oregano and just sprinkle liberally over the vegetables. And then we're done. Okay, so this dish was inspired by my last visit to Paris to the Jewish Quarter. It's a whole roasted cauliflower, and this involves high temperature cooking, but the first thing we need to do is take our whole cauliflowers and blanch them. We put them in with a bit of water, some white wine, the juice of about 2 lemons, 2 teaspoons of chili flakes, and about 50 grams of butter. Some salt, and then I cover and I just let the cauliflowers simmer just for about 30 minutes. So my cauliflowers have been cooking about 30 minutes, but just check it with a knife. You just need to make sure that it's just nice and tender all the way through. Let it cool down a bit and then drizzle a bit of extra virgin olive oil. So like I mentioned earlier, this is high temperature cooking, so I'm going to put this into a very hot oven at 250 degrees centigrade. So baking it in that high oven has given it a beautiful dark colour. Another alternative, which is even better, is to bake the cauliflower in your covered barbecue. That will give it a wonderful barbecue smoky flavour. And then I'm going to cut the base, and this is going to make a fantastic puree. I put these bits into my container, add a nice spoonful tahini, a squeeze of lemon, some olive oil and salt. Take my stick blender and blend. Now I take some whole pistachio nuts and I dry toast them in a hot pan. Pomegranate, I'm going to take out the seeds. Some fresh mint, picked and finely chopped. This is a sharing dish which has 2 components, the whole roasted cauliflower and then the puree that I made from the base of the cauliflower mixed with tahini. I just spoon that alongside the whole cauliflower, sprinkle it with the pomegranate, and then I have some feta cheese here. This is a soft one, which is a little bit like a goat's cheese. I took the toasted pistachio nuts and chopped them, and then just sprinkle that over the top. The mint, nicely scattered, and then drizzle with olive oil, or in this case, some pistachio nut oil. The idea with this dish is that you mix the whole cauliflower, take off pieces, and mix it together with the puree, and it really makes a perfect appetizer. You're not surprised to see that I love those robust Mediterranean flavours. These vegetable dishes are so satisfying in their own right. Come back and see how these vegetables can also be the perfect partnership to a cracking roast. See you next time on Chris's Takeaway.